Hello and welcome to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm here today in the state-of-the-art training facility at the JDL Technologies headquarters. I'm Patrick Shaber, Vice President of Global Marketing for Communication Systems Incorporated, or CSI. With 15 years of success and a team of highly skilled engineers, JDL, a wholly owned subsidiary of CSI, works with the latest and most advanced information technology to deliver effective business solutions catered to each customer. JDL's engineers specialize in virtualization, managed services, network design, and converged infrastructure. Through customized IT solutions, JDL works with each customer to not only implement the newest technologies, but also to help them realize the benefits, such as decreased costs and increased efficiencies. Our visit here today will be highlighted by a discussion with Scott Fluegge, Vice President and General Manager of JDL. Scott's going to give us some insight into the trends and the technologies that he sees, as well as what strategies are driving JDL's success.
Scott, thanks so much for having me. It's great to be down here in Fort Lauderdale and to get a tour and meet some of your staff.
It's great to have you here, Pat. Thank you for coming.
The IT services field is crowded with competition. What is JDL doing to separate themselves in the market?
At JDL, what we do to differentiate is pride ourselves on being an engineering consultative company. By that I mean we're not so much interested in the actual closure of the deal, but of the relationship with our clients. We spend a great deal of time from an engineering perspective getting to understand the client's immediate pain as well as their future focus, so that any solutions that we design are going to stand the test of time and not only solve that immediate pain, but then serve as a foundation or a framework upon which that company can in turn build. We've created a core set of offerings, or pillars as we call them, around virtualization, managed services, converged infrastructure, and networking, with the idea being that any client who has a need within one of those spaces will have a need that kind of crosses those boundaries. So our engineers are trained across all of those different applications. So now if you as a customer came up to me and realized that virtualization was where you needed to go, it was something that was key to your company's business moving forward, our engineers would come in, get a better understanding of not only your desire for virtualization, but your current infrastructure, your network that in turn needs to support that, your engineering team on staff who's going to then be in turn responsible for maintaining that virtualized solution going forward. And then we will propose a solution that not only addresses that immediate pain, but then creates that foundation so that your virtualization can thrive and grow to meet your future business needs as well.
Your customers seem to treat you almost as a member of your team, and some of these relationships have been going on for years. Could you touch on a bit what your methodologies are in customer engagement?
For us, it's the highest honor to be considered a trusted advisor to our customers. We've gone to great lengths to make sure that our engineering staff is up to speed on all of the current and newest technologies, and share that information and knowledge with our clients so that they can take advantage of our skill set. When we go in to solve an initial problem, we're also looking at the long-term IT initiatives of our customers so that we help them build a platform for growth for them. And it is through that relationship that we create long-standing trusted advisor relationships with our customers that help us to indeed become part of their team.
Anyone reading the news these days or following tech trends is hearing the buzzwords virtualization and cloud computing. But they're focused on the cool factor right now. At JDL, you guys are actually using this technology to impact your customers' operations. Do you have a few examples you could share with us?
Virtualization has been around for years. It's been a fact in the data center for 10 or more years. Cloud computing has been talked about for many years, but is really just now reaching the stage where the clients can take advantage of it. What we're doing at JDL is we're combining the best of both of those technologies. More recent in the technology sphere within virtualization are the desktop levels of virtualization. Before, everything was in the server farm. People could virtualize their servers, take advantage of high processing systems to carry the workload of multiple systems from the past. Now what we're doing is we're virtualizing user experiences, so that's on top of what we've seen in the past. And doing that in the cloud, which completely absolves or dissolves the requirement for the client to maintain some of that IT infrastructure themselves.
Over the last few years, JDL has built up an impressive managed services offering. What drove the need in the market for this offering, and how are your customers utilizing it?
Managed service for us was a natural extension of what we were already offering. We're bringing best of breed and new technologies to companies that don't have much exposure to them. So now a customer wants to take advantage of the best of breed virtualization. So we'll come in, we'll spend the time, we'll design a solution, implement that for them, but then what? Many customers were faced with, what do I do now? How do I make sure that it stays up and available? It's now become the most critical system within my environment, and my customers, my internal customers, demand access anytime, anywhere, from any system. And it's just a little bit too much for some people to be able to maintain. So managed services was the natural solution to that. So not only can we build and design the solution for them, but we can take any part or all of the management for the customer to ensure that that availability to those critical resources is maintained without an undue burden upon their own IT staff.
As part of your services offering, you've built some key relationships with vendors who you work very closely with. Could you give us some examples of who these vendors are and how they're impacting your business?
JDL attempts to be vendor agnostic in all our dealings with our customers. Our goal is to provide the best solution for our customers based on their specific needs. For some customers, that need may be reliability. For another customer, price may be the greater issue. So again, we work with multiple vendors, in some cases competing vendors, to make sure that we can bring the solution that works best for that client. In order to provide these types of solutions, we've created very strong relationships with vendors such as HP, Citrix, Maru, Cisco, Landesk, and others. And we constantly and consistently work with them to upgrade our own engineering staff to make sure we understand the width and breadth of their offerings, and then provide that training and education down to our clients in the form of educational seminars, client outreaches, lunch and learns. We're constantly creating customer events where we bring customers and possible vendors together so that they can get a first-hand view of what's available in the market and why we're bringing those vendors as part of our solution set offering to the client.
So Scott, we've talked about partners, we've talked about technology, we've talked about customers. What's next for JDL?
We've become the premier partner for virtualization, managed services, networking, and converged infrastructure here in the South Florida area. So our next step is to take that same offering with that same engineering-led focus up through the rest of Florida and then up into the rest of the states within the next 2 to 5 years.
Hey, thanks a lot for taking the time for us. We really appreciate it. It's great to get a little more insight into the whole operation here.
Great. Well,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thank you for joining me here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, at the corporate headquarters of JDL Technologies. Special thanks to Scott Fluegge for taking the time to sit down with us and give us some insight into the markets, trends, technologies, and key customer and vendor relationships that are driving JDL's growth. We'll be on site again soon at another CSI location, and until then, thanks for joining me.